All right, we're going to take a look at another requested topic. This one should be interesting. Now the question is, did Paul McCartney die in 1966? So I've heard some shows because there's a theory, right? So there is a theory that Paul McCartney died in a car crash in 1966, and he was basically replaced with like a body double. And at first you would hear that and think, well, that's ridiculous. But I've heard a couple shows on Coast to Coast about this topic, and I know enough to know that it is not ridiculous, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that would lead someone to believe this. And uh, I mean, there was a report of a car crash in 1966, and it was actually reported that Paul McCartney had died there. And then all of the clues that the Beatles have put into their work, the Sgt. Pepper album cover and the lyrics in some of their songs, there's been a bunch of clues. And I think there was like a voice expert that determined that it was not Paul McCartney after 1966. Um, or after 67 or whatever. Like there was a voice expert that listened to what was Paul McCartney originally and what was Paul McCartney after, and determined that that was not the same voice. So let's just see what the cards say about this. So the question is, and I'm looking specifically at the 1966 car crash. Did Paul McCartney die in this car crash in 1966? All right, random word, ape shit, random number 32. Okie doke. Oops. All right, I guess those are all staying where they are. Okay, so our root card, interesting, it's a Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups does show like this emotional connection that sort of has broken down. This would show more of like an argument or something like that, but let's just see what we got. A Page of Cups. Okay, let's see where they came from and where they're going. Came from, where they're going. Huh. Wow. So this actually looks more like family stuff. Um, so the Page of Cups is the child. It is the child in the Ten of Cups. That that is the Page of Cups there. The Ten of Cups is the happy reunited family. So here, what happens in the Nine of Wands, this is about how much hope you have that the future would be different than the past. And here it looks like they try to get out of this, like, sort of hopeless part of their life, moving forward, reuniting with their family, and oh, the way that I would read this, actually, because we're looking specifically at the 1966 deal, this looks like either Paul McCartney's parents, and I don't know shit about his actual life, right? Either his parents were going through some shit, or he was going through some heavy relationship stuff. And I think this was actually true with the Beatles. They had some, they were not going to do live shows anymore or whatever. Um, and this would be the way that I would read this is maybe he had kind of quit the band or something. Um, but I wouldn't read this as him dying. The Page of Cups is the emotionally like open healer, and this is like having this little experience, you know, moving toward reuniting with the family. The way that I would read this actually is like maybe he fucking quit the band in 1966 or something like that, or they had kind of a meltdown or something, and then ended up going back to them. I'm just gonna pull one more card to see if we're looking at. Well, we got two that are coming out, but I think this is the main one here. It is another Cups card, and it shows boredom and emotional stagnation. And what was the other one here? The Lovers. So when I look at all of this, so we got the 4 and the 5 of Cups. We do have the Nine of Wands showing facing a situation that they think might be kind of hopeless, and then sort of opening up in this optimistic, childlike sort of way, and reuniting with the family. So the boredom and stagnation is connected to the Lovers. And honestly, this all looks like commitment to the Beatles, commitment to the band. And if I were to read this in 1966, maybe he fucking quit the band or really wanted to, and then just sort of had this other experience where he ended up going back to them. I think it has been proven that he did have a car crash in 1966, but apparently he didn't die. But maybe that experience, um, and apparently no one could contact him for several days, but that might have been what he was going through here, just sort of an emotional breakdown. Um, so looking at all of this, did Paul McCartney die in 1966? I do not think so. So maybe he had some emotional shit that he went through, but I don't think that he died. Now, this would lead to the question of why did they put so many clues out there, and they kind of played it up. It was weird because it was subtle, but it was also very pervasive, you know. And I guess the answer, well, let's look at that. Let's Because the Sergeant Pepper album cover, there are so many fucking things in there that would lead one to believe this. Um, that would lead one to believe that Paul McCartney died, right? And there's a bunch of song lyrics and all of this. So let's just see what all of that is about. And we get the Hermit. So that is an interesting card to show up, but the Hermit is kind of about separation. Um, huh. What are we looking at here? The things that are coming out as I'm looking at this are the mouth and then the covering of the eye. Um, I'm not really sure what to make of that, but the Hermit at its core is about separating enough that you remember who you are. And I mean, the only way that I could really figure out how to translate that is either Paul McCartney like needed some time alone or something like that, but the Hermit would be more. I mean, the question of why would they put all of these clues in there, and maybe it was just to get people to sort of open up and to seek, to seek within themselves, um, which I, I doesn't make the most sense, but I don't really know what else. All right, one other card that we get coming out here, Knight of Cups. So this is the spiritual seeker. So I guess maybe it is just like trying to get people to seek, you know, to open up beyond what is normal and to seek something else. And with the Hermit, that would be about some sort of internal awakening or whatever. But at the end of the day, I would not say that Paul McCartney died in 1966. If you have any questions or comments on this or any other requests for readings, let me know, and peace.